Hello, everybody. This is BK International Talent Scout coming to you live. Yes, I'm coming to you live right here, right now. Today, I'm going to be reading, highlighting, and commenting on the Seattle Medium, a message from the people to the people. On the front page of the Seattle Medium newspaper, headlines, page 3A, Seattle City Club launches its first ever civically engaged youth council. Finance for you and I supplement inside. New state policy aims to improve Marno health. Marno health. So let's get to that first page, volume 55, number 17, celebrating over 55 years of service, Wednesday in April. On the front page of the facts, the first article on the left-hand side of the paper, federal government providing nearly $80 million to combat violent crime in the U.S., by Stacey M. Brown, NNPA Senior National Correspondent. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland has announced a multifaceted strategy to bolster law enforcement and community-based initiatives to combat violent crime in America. Speaking at a conference for federal grantees in Chicago, Garland highlighted the need to double down on recent progress and stem the tide of violence gripping many American cities. Garland noted the recent significant drop in homicides, hailing in as the largest one-year drop in half a century. He pointed to Chicago's 13% decrease in violent crime as a tangible example of the positive impact of targeted intervention. The Attorney General credited much of the progress to the bipartisan Safer Communities Act, which empowered federal prosecutors to crack down on gun trafficking and straw purchasing, while allocating $250 million in grants for community-based violence prevention initiatives. Of the funding, Garland announced the immediate availability of $78 million to be distributed to organizations actively engaged in reducing violent crime and fostering community trust. On the right side of the page, the 21st Annual Seattle Black Film Festival kicks off this week at Langston Hughes. Filmmakers James J.J. 88 Jacobs Left will showcase his film, Songs from the Hole, on the opening night of the Seattle Black Film Festival. After the screening, Jacobs will join producer-activist Richie Resenda for a panel discussion moderated by I.O. Wright. Karia Dio, the Seattle Medium. The 21st Annual Seattle Black Film Festival, the longest and largest black film festival in the Pacific Northwest, will take place from April 24th through April 28th at the Langston Hughes Performing Arts Institute, 17th Avenue South, Seattle, Washington. The Black Film Festival has been running in the Central District for many years, bringing the best of the best and the brightest of black cinematographies to Seattle. The festival allows filmmakers in the area and the opportunity to share their work with an audience that can view it from multiple different perspectives. This year's festival will feature over 60 films at 2 in-person locations and virtually online. I think it's really cool that they're presenting the film festival online because a lot of people aren't trying to go in person. We have the kind of always sort out the new voices of black cinema because it is important for the black voices of Seattle filmmaking to not be forgotten, but instead to be praised and acknowledged. Our whole mission is to celebrate local and international black filmmakers of the African diaspora to tell the stories of black people from all over the globe in every kind of genre, movie, short film, experimental film, to bring that to the Pacific Northwest. We then sit down and watch and discuss every single film. And last year we went through over 200 films to be analyzed, says Price, who says that they welcome volunteers to help them screen film submissions to the festival. If you love watching 10 hours of film, then this is a way that you can also participate and help us get through all the movies that we have, says Price. So yeah, the 21st Annual Seattle Black Film Festival kicks off this week at Langston Hughes Performing Arts Center. Langston Hughes Performing Arts Center's Black Film Festival honors native son Justin Emrock's body of work. The Seattle Film Festival at Langston Hughes Performing Arts Center will showcase 2 Justin Emrock films during this year's festival. Emrock, shown above, found his love for theater and film at the Performing Arts Center during his teen years in Seattle. 1620 AM KYIZ. Barbecue, Jamaican, and soul cuisine. The Little Red Catering and Takeout. 206-760-2931. Locally loved and nationally recognized for catering and takeout. Hours of operation, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Thursday through Sunday. Location, 4225 Rainier Avenue South, Seattle, Washington, 98118. LittleRedTakeout.com. Seattle City Club launches its first ever civically engaged youth council. Pictured right to left are 2 people a part of that organization. The City Club recently launched its first ever civically engaged youth council, composed of youth and young adults ages 15 to 24 from across Western Washington and Central Washington. The council will provide young people with the opportunity to examine the value and the implements of free speech, discuss and learn about national and international issues of critical importance, and be challenged to discover new ways in which they can actively participate in public life. According to Alicia Crank, Executive Director of the Seattle City Club, the launch of the Youth Council has been a long time coming. She believes that the Youth Council is a critical turning point to get members of Gen Z active in civic engagement, volunteering in the community, and joining different boards and commissions, all in hope of having their voices heard. This is a program I've wanted to do since I came to this organization, says Crank, and it's time for Gen Z voices to be front and center in conversations involving politics, civic engagement, and civil discourse. Skip the drama drive, sound transit. Met thinks thou hast light rail aptly. So they got a little commercial about light rail, skipping the drama drive, and getting on sound transit. Washington Dental Clinic, completely family, dental care for all. Dr. M.B. Washington and Dr. K.M. Washington. Okay, guys, going to page 4. AIPAC is an enemy of humanity. Staying on the right side of history, our country has given Netanyahu too many passes. I read those articles in the Tacoma True Citizen. New state policy aims to improve the maternal health by offering Medicaid reimbursement for doluses. The Seattle Medium, thanks to a coalition of birth workers and anti-racist organizers called Doulas for All Coalition D4A, Washington State will soon offer access to Medicaid reimbursement for birth doluses for the first time. Advocates for the measure says that this is a historic win, especially since the reimbursement rate will be the highlighted in the country. This is particularly significant in the Black community, where several disparities and disproportionately impact birthing people in their community. Doluses are trained professionals who provide guidance and support to another person through significant health-related experiences such as childbirth, offering emotional and physical support during and after labor. The new policy aims to address critical issues within the Black community related to parental care, mental care, by supporting Medicaid reimbursements for doluses. Doluses are known for their role in improving birth outcomes, which is vital in combating the troubling national trends affecting Black maternal health. Okay, they're giving away a lot of money. New program aims to provide primary care doctors with the training and tools to manage patients suffering from dementia. That's an article by Aaron Allen. The troubling scenario that is growing number of people can relate to. You might walk into your aging parents' home, greeted by the familiar sight of them sitting comfortably in front of a television, only for your mother not to recognize you. As you approach and say hello, confusion marks her face. She does not recall your name or who you are. This heart-wrenching moment underscores a previous issue facing our healthcare system, the need for effective and timely diagnosis and management of dementia. At the forefront of addressing the challenge are Dr. Mark Gaster and Dr. Jackie Ratz of UW Medicine. These seasoned primary care physicians with 20 years of experience have spent the past several years learning all that can be about dementia, red flags, diagnosis, treatment options, how to talk with patients and families. Patients really want to talk about it with their trusted medical advisor, says a clinician about the importance of dementia care. The urgency is echoed by healthcare providers nationwide who often feel unprepared to diagnose and discuss dementia. What a great article. Read the full article. Okay, we're going to the front page. In loving memory of Henry Stetson, sunrise November 15, 1944, becoming fully alive in heaven April 17, 2024. Phoebe Annette Harris Small. God called home a treasure angel, Phoebe Annette Harris Small, on April 4th, 2024. She was the middle child of 3, born in Seattle on July 9th, 1948, to the late Deacon James and Maxine Harris. Growing up in Seattle, she was a valued member of the Mount Zion Church, where her presence was felt through her active participation in the chapel choir, her dedicated service as a youth usher, and involvement in the Baptist Youth Fellowship. She fondly remembered traveling to church youth conferences with other members and friends of Mount Zion. Harris Small attended Madrona Elementary School, Meany Junior High, as was a proud Garfield High Bulldog. Upon receiving her high school diploma, she attended Texas Southern University in Houston, Texas, where she met and married her soulmate, Joseph Small II. Joe and Phoebe settled in Seattle, where they were blessed with 2 children, Nate and Aaron, and Joe and Phoebe remained married for 54 years. Professionally, she worked at Boeing and later excelled as a mortgage underwriter, leaving her mark on esteemed institutions such as Dictator Mortgages in California and Seafirst Bank in Seattle. Going to page 7A, U.S. Coast Guard promotes first black female admiral. U.S. Coast Guard Captain Zanetta Merchant has made history as the first black female admiral in the service's 233-year history. Admiral Merchant, previously the commander of Sector New York, will now lead the Coast Guard Personnel Service Center in Washington, D.C., where she will oversee recruitment and scholarships. Merchant said she initially joined the Coast Guard with the intention of financing her medical school education. I always had this passion for service, but I never thought it would be in the form of military service. I really feel like this is God's plan and not my plan, she told the Clarion Ledger newspaper in Jackson, Mississippi. Officials said that the promotion highlights the Coast Guard's ongoing commitment to diversity and inclusion. Historian William H. Theus notes, the African Americans have played a pivotal role in the Coast Guard's history since inception, 1790. From the earliest days of the U.S. Review Cutter Service, black sailors served alongside their white counterparts, with many making significant contributions during conflicts such as the Quasi-War with France and the War of 1812. He wrote that Coast Guard's rich and illustrious history of African American service is filled with bravery and accomplishment milestones, from Aaron Carter, the first African American to die in combat defending the Cape Florida Lighthouse in 1836, to hell-roaring Mike Healy, the first African American commissioned officer and ship's captain. Black Coast Guard members have consistently broken barriers and paved the way for future generations. During World War II, the Coast Guard led the federal government's first official experiments in the dissertation and commissioning its first African American officers assigned to black officers, enlisted men in the USS Sea Cloud. By the war's end, 5,000 black members had served in the Coast Guard, with 1 in every 5 being petty officers or warrant officer level. In the following decades, African Americans continued to achieve notable milestones within the service. Thiessen asserted that Levine, Fremont, and Bobby Wilkes became the first black graduates from Officer Candidate School in 1954 and 1956. Merle Smith, the first African American graduate of the Coast Guard Academy in 1966, later received the Bronze Star Medal for his service in Vietnam. Modern times have seen African Americans reach even greater heights within the Coast Guard. Vince Patton became the first black Master Chief Petty Officer of the Coast Guard in 1998, followed by Enroy Brown, the first black flag officer in 2002. Jenny McIntosh earned her wings as the first African American female aviator in 2005 and 2009. Felicia Thomas became the first black female commander. A. Cutter Merchant's distinguished career features key roles such as special assignment to the 27th and 28th Vice Commandments of the Coast Guard, Congressional Fellowship for the Committees on Oversight and Reform and Transformation and Infrastructure, and Executive Strategic Planner for the Coast Guard Flag and Senior Executive Services. Her educational background is equally impressive, holding a Doctor of Business Administration and a Master's of Quality Systems Management from the National Graduate School of New England Institute of Business. She also earned a Master's of Public Administration from George Washington University and a Bachelor's of Science in Biology from Tougaloo College. Additionally, Merchant completed the Executive Education Leadership in Homeland Security program at Harvard Kennedy School of Government and was a Seminar XXI National Security and Foreign Affairs Fellow at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. When a reporter asked what she would tell her teenage self, Merchant replied, "We get in our own way because we think we don't deserve the best based on where we're from. I would tell my younger self that you got to get out of your head, get out of your own way, and the world is truly yours to conquer." U.S. Coast Captain Zayata Merchant, U.S. Coast Guard promotes first black female admiral. U.S. Coast Guard promotes first black female admiral. U.S. Coast Guard Captain Zayata Merchant. That is the reading of the Seattle Medium newspaper. At 24 minutes, guys, we got to cut out and get ready for the next level of programs. Again, BK Presents on Rainier Avenue Radio.world is aired 6 times a week and premiered 3 times on Sunday. Thank you for listening to my podcast. The Seattle Medium versus Tacoma True Citizen. What an honor to do this tonight, on this night. We end our podcast highlighting and commenting on the Seattle Medium newspaper. This is BK International Talent Scout of BK Presents Radio Podcast, aired on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Guess what, guys? We'll see you next week. Literally, we'll see you later on in the morning with more podcasts announcing my schedule from Monday through Sunday. So stay tuned for that public service announcement. This is BKI signing out now, but we'll see you later in the morning.